My husband worked late every Tuesday and Thursday. For 6 years, I believed him. Then one night, he forgot to kiss me goodbye. That was it. One small habit. 6 years of perfect lying. One missed moment that unraveled everything. And what I found 3 miles from our front door that night was not just another woman. It was an entire life he had been living without me.
My name is Michelle,
38
years old, married to Aaron for 8 years, together 10.
If you had asked me to describe him the week before that Thursday, I would have said dependable, quiet, hardworking, the kind of man who never gave you a reason
To doubt him because he was too careful to ever leave one.
He worked in operations for a medical supply company. Tuesdays and Thursdays were always his late nights. Inventory problems, vendor calls, whatever explanation fit best that particular month. We didn't have children, not by choice, at least not mine. We had done the appointments, the tests, the hormone treatments, the long drives home after doctors explained things in careful voices while Aaron held my hand in waiting rooms and told me
we would figure it out together.
Then he stopped bringing it up.
That maybe life was pushing us in a different direction. We still had a good marriage.
And I wanted that to be true so badly I let his silence become mine. Looking back, I can see every sign I chose not to read. Phone always face down, calls he stepped outside to take, the way he gradually stopped wanting people over to our house. Small shifts I filed away as stress or personality or just the way long marriages settle into themselves. I convinced myself that was all it was. Then came that Thursday. It was 6:12 p.m. when Aaron grabbed his keys and headed for the front door. He checked his phone, picked up his jacket, moved toward the door like every other Tuesday and Thursday for 6 years. Usually he stopped, kissed me, said don't wait up. That night he just walked out. The door clicked shut behind him. I stood at the kitchen counter staring at it. Something inside me went completely still. Not loud, not dramatic, just still in a way I had never felt before.
In 10 years of being with this man, I told myself I was being ridiculous.
One missed kiss was nothing. He was probably just distracted, but I was already reaching for my purse. I followed him out of our neighborhood and onto the main road. Kept 2 cars between us the whole time, hands tight on the wheel, hard doing something I didn't have a name for yet. He drove 3 miles, turned off Maple Street and pulled into the driveway of a pale blue house with white shutters and flower pots by the front steps and a bicycle tipped over in the yard. A completely normal house, 3 miles from ours. I parked half a block away because I suddenly could not breathe properly. Aaron got out carrying takeout bags, the same takeout he had texted me an hour earlier saying he was too slammed to pick up. The front door opened before he even reached the steps. A woman stood in the doorway smiling at him like she had been counting the minutes. Then I heard it. 2 small voices from somewhere inside the house.
Daddy!
Not Dad, not Uncle Aaron, Daddy. He bent down and picked up the smaller one and kissed the top of her head and walked through that door like a man coming home to exactly where he belonged. I sat in my car gripping the steering wheel until my fingers cramped completely. Then I got out. I walked up that driveway, climbed those front steps, and rang the doorbell. Through the glass beside the door, I could see family photos covering the entire wall. A beach trip, Christmas morning, a birthday party, Aaron in every single one of them, smiling, holding those children, standing beside that woman like he had built an entire life I had somehow never been allowed to see. The woman opened the door with a dish towel in her hand. Then she saw my face. Yes? I looked past her into the dining room. Aaron was standing completely frozen with one hand on the back of a chair. I'm Michelle. I'm Aaron's wife. The dish towel slipped out of her hand. What? His wife, I said. We've been married 8 years. She looked at me, then at him. A little boy appeared in the hallway. Behind his leg, a small girl in pajamas was holding a stuffed rabbit with both arms. The woman's face changed. Something shut off behind her eyes. No, to him.
Lena, I can explain.
Explain what? She's your wife?
He looked at me then, and I watched it happen.
Michelle, please, let's not. Do this in front of the kids.
In front of which kids? Lena made a sound I will never forget, like her whole body rejected reality at once.
How long? 8 years married. Together 10.
Face went completely white. Aaron tried one more time. It's complicated. Lena and I looked at him.
Complicated. He stood with one wife at the door and another in the hallway.
And framed proof of his lies covering every wall around him. And the word he reached for was complicated. Tyler, Emma, go upstairs for a few minutes, okay?
Get out! out!
The second they were gone, she turned back.
Lena, please.
Get out!
He turned to me like I might be the one to rescue him.
You need to leave.
And then, without planning it, we said the next part together.
Get out!
He grabbed his keys, looked around that room like a man genuinely unable to understand how everything disappears, and walked out the front door. Neither of us followed him. The room went quiet.
Lena sat and pressed her hands over her mouth, so I did.
We sat together on that couch for a long time, two strangers who had just survived the same collision.
She told me about conference trip, the sick relative cover, 2 lives with distance.
Until that night, until one missed kiss sent me out the door after him. I left around 10:30 p.m. When I got home, his toothbrush was still, his shoes by the door, his coffee mug in the dishwasher.
A man split in half.
He came through the door at 12:07 a.m. I was sitting on the couch with all the lights off.
Michelle?
No.
I know how this looks.
I stood up. Aaron, your daughter called you daddy while I was standing on another woman's porch.
Michelle.
He said my name again, softer this time. Like gentleness could still do something, it couldn't. I gave you 10 years.
You don't get another 10 minutes.
Please just let me explain.
Explain what? The wife or the children? The 6 years or the 8? He had nothing. That was the first honest thing I told him to pack.
Where should I go?
His problems were no longer mine to carry. Figure it out. He left with a duffel bag and the stunned expression men wear when consequences. The next morning, Lena texted me. 3 words, he's gone too. I stared at my phone for a long moment. Then I wrote back, good. The divorce took months, the damage took longer, but both of us left him the same night. And he lost everything, both homes, both families, 70% of his assets, 3 miles. That was all the distance between the life he showed me. So before you go, I need to ask you something.
Is there something off?
One habit that changed? One moment that made something inside you go still? Trust it. Drop a comment and tell me what it was. Smallest things are almost always telling you the biggest truth. Drop a comment. What was the small thing that told you everything?